SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
State Treasurer David McRae has put hundreds of millions back into the hands of Mississippi citizens, expanding the state's affordable college and career savings program and also returning record amounts of unclaimed money. Check out how Treasurer David McRae's office can help you, your business, or your organization. Treasury.ms.gov.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man, way past 21.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the start of a new week. We are in the final week of the month of July today. Oh, it's a great day to be with you as we get rolling alongside Lance Tolbert. I'm Richard Cross. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being part of the conversation. Best way to do that is on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395, whether you are looking for the best in wireless with nationwide LTE coverage, the best in internet at your home, fiber to the home internet, or the best in business IT services with the team they've got at C Spire. You just can't beat it. C Spire's got you covered. C Spire, inspired by you. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It was hot. There's no question. But it was maybe just a skosh less hot than it was during the week last week. Am I crazy for thinking that, Lance? Just a little bit less?
It was breezy. You know, we had some nice wind down here in the central.
And that makes a difference.
Yeah, it made a huge difference. I have the little fan out, and it makes a little difference. But, you know, when you get a good 10-mile-an-hour, 15-mile-an-hour breeze blowing through, and it was nice. Honestly, I didn't really find it overly, hot with the breeze. But, man, when you got out in that sun and there was no breeze, it was cooking.
I will say late, kind of been in and out of it on Saturday. And late Saturday afternoon, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that. I had throughout the day been working on trimming hedges. I had a bunch of boxwoods, kind of different places around the house, and in like to the side of our house, almost like it makes a wall on both ends of the house. We've got this really tall holly, like holly that has grown into a 6 foot, 7 foot tall hedge. Yeah, I mean holly trees that have grown together to kind of make a wall almost.
A hedgerow.
Yes, a holly bush hedgerow. That's exactly what I'm trying to say this morning. And you gotta work on it. So, kind of trying to keep the front of it straight so it looks. The problem is, I've been trying to allow it to grow up top a little bit. And so it kind of looks ugly when you do that, right? I mean, because nothing's the same height. But you want to allow the growth to get up there so it'll get to, whatever desired height.
The ideal height you want, right?
Yeah, it's the waiting process. But brother, when it's finally time to trim that thing, and you're having to trim up above your head or on a ladder.
Oh, I have a great trick for you. Go get
that is a workout.
Go get the steel with the angled arm.
I've got it.
Oh, yeah, that thing makes a big difference.
It makes a difference.
It doesn't stop you from having to work, but it
is still an above the shoulders, above the head workout, and you feel it.
My 78-year-old dad gets out there and does it. Yeah, my 78-year-old dad. We got him one of those a couple years ago, and he was getting up on a tripod ladder. Mm-hmm. And, having these feigning spells where, he would have to go down to his knees.
Can't tell him anything, though.
No, you can't tell that hard-headed rascal anything. He'd get up on the roof, and finally I'm like, look, no, you got to cut this out. So got him one of the angled steel battery-powered, man. It's made a great difference. But, yeah, he still gets out. He just didn't have to get on the ladder.
Oh, you got the battery-powered one.
Yeah, the battery-powered one, yeah.
I have not made the switch to battery.
That was the
Still
one.
like mixing the gas and oil and pouring it in. And
Yeah, you like the sound. It sounds like a little motorcycle running through the neighborhood.
wee. It is going to be warm today. Fulton, you've got intervals of clouds and sunshine, hot and humid, high near 95 with a west-northwest breeze. Slight one at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Man, this is copy
Like
and
reprint,
paste.
yeah.
Indianola, sunshine, some clouds, hot and humid, high 97, winds west-northwest 5 to 10. Meridian, sunshine, some clouds, hot and humid, high 97, winds northwest 5 to 10. Meadville, down in southwest Mississippi, sunny, along with a few afternoon clouds, hot and humid, high, 96, winds light and variable. It's going to be warm. Looks like middle of the week we may get a little bit of a break on the temperature.
Well, you don't have too much longer to bear it. It's
Just hang in there.
We're getting there, yeah.
Oh, you say that, brother. We got all of August.
Yeah. August is my birthday month. So yeah.
Most of September.
August is my birthday month. It just flies
Some
by.
of October.
You never know, though, really.
Halloween is a complete crapshoot.
It is, especially in North Mississippi. Living up there for so long. You could have a 20-degree Halloween or a 90-degree one.
My kids have frozen on Halloween, and they have had nothing but remnants of a costume because they've been sweating for 2 hours trick-or-treating on Halloween. Walter Hunt was born on this day in 1796. Why is his name important? Because he invented the safety pin. I just hope he patented it. Feels like something... That feels like a mailbox money invention.
Yeah. His family's still getting some.
Yeah, Martinsburg, New York. Not only did he invent the safety pin, he invented the sewing machine. I don't know which one is more important. Don't know which one's more impressive.
I'd go with sewing machine. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Safety pin's great, but I can only
sewing
imagine.
Machine you can sew faster, but, you can still sew by hand.
Yeah, you can, right. But, yeah, there's
Especially in 1796.
That was revolutionary.
It was. Don't you think the safety pin was, too?
Oh, of course. Which one came first?
Before.
Which one came first, the safety pin or the sewing machine?
Safety pin.
Okay.
Peter Jennings, former ABC evening news broadcaster. Nothing says trust the newsman like he's from Canada. And yet, Peter Jennings, Canadian-American news anchor, born in Toronto, longtime host of the ABC Evening News. That was the one we watched growing up. We were an ABC family, not an NBC family, or CBS. Dan Rather.
I liked Jennings, back in the day.
Yeah. 1956, former Mississippi Governor Ronnie Musgrove was born. Served from 2000 to 2004. Lance?
I worked in that campaign.
Hold on. Takawa or Toccoa?
Huh?
Toccoa, Mississippi?
Toccoa? Yeah, Toccoa. Let's see if I can get the pronunciation on that.
I kind of feel like one of the weather guys out of Memphis that's trying to say...
It says it's a ghost town located just outside of Batesville in Panola County.
Well, I knew he was from Panola County, but I'm not as familiar with Toccowa.
It doesn't give a pronunciation on it either. So looking for that. Let's see.
Well, anyway, we can move it.
Yeah, Toccoa.
Thank you, Jim. I knew one of our friends in the Delta was going to come in.
I knew that one. Never been to the ghost town.
Going to come in strong.
They even got a T-shirt.
Toccoa.
Yeah.
Very good. Martina McBride is 58 years old today. Is that right? 59 years old today. Come on, man. Update your algorithm website. 59 years old today. She was born in 1966. This one's for the girls. Virtual duet with Dean Martin on Baby It's Cold Outside, born in Sharon, Kansas. Independence Day. The song that everybody plays on the 4th of July that is absolutely not about the 4th of July, even though it's named Independence Day, and says, lit up the sky like the 4th of July. Not a patriotic song.
Virtual duet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just decided to go with it.
No, I was reading the Dean Martin virtual duet. Baby, It's cold outside.
1993, Dak Prescott was born. 2016 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year with the Cowboys. 2022 named the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. He's a Pro Bowler in 2016. Again in 2018. Sulphur, Louisiana, the hometown. You may remember where he went to college. He's a Bulldog.
Yeah, he's a good one, too. The man. Hey, I got one birthday for you, though, that you may have left out. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the former ISIS chief, set in 1971. That's when he was born. Is
he the one? Baghdadi.
Yeah, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. And,
like a dog.
Yes, he was the one that studied very hard to be a Muslim cleric, but his brain power wasn't that great, so he became a terrorist instead. So that's
Takawa was like, when they're trying to pronounce Coahoma County.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go take a look down in Coahoma County. What are you
Coahoma.
talking about?
Hey, don't forget about
get out a little more.
Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was born on this day as well.
He died. He came out begging. Died like a dog. Like a dog. Woo! C-Spire text line open 601-879-4395. Broadcasting to Coahoma County and all the other places. Like
Natchez and
Yalabusha and Natchez and Lafayette and Pontotoc. All those places. Back with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross. Just getting started. We're back after this.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
You're waking up to what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross. Right now on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. Let's go back, let's go way on.
Lance, you ever walk up to a group of buddies and they're laughing? Like one of them's telling a joke and he's well into the joke. He's not quite to the punchline yet. And everybody's laughing and having a good time. He gets the punchline and you don't think it's very funny because you didn't hear the entire joke.
Yeah,
and you might even be like, well, that doesn't make sense. And everybody just kind of looks at you. Kind of like the guy that corrects me on the pronunciation of Coahoma on the C-Spire text line, when quite literally the entire joke was making fun of the guy that pronounces it like Coahoma instead of Kahoma.
They're like, no, it's not Natchez, it's Natchez.
I mean, he literally phonetically spelled out Kahoma and then called me a donkey.
We was joking. We were playing around with pronunciations this morning.
Or maybe you're the donkey for not being in on the whole bit, pal.
Takawa. That's where we started on that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. 1928, test footage was created for Walt Disney's Steamboat Willie. You know that Steamboat Willie was the first time that Mickey Mouse appeared in animation?
Oh, yeah.
Been a good run for the mouse. It has been a good run.
I'm glad they changed. Mickey Mouse kind of has a little better ring to it
than Steamboat Willie. Yeah, I agree.
Well, and you had the steamboat and he had the captain's hat and all that. It kind of changed it around a little bit. Yes, you got to do some testing on that stuff first, I guess, if you want an iconic cartoon figure.
Yeah, you got to make sure they're
in on the game here.
Everybody's in on it. Man, Holly Springs, Mississippi, and Marshall County has a beautiful downtown. Man, some of the homes there and kind of the layout of the old-style square, just absolutely spectacular. But I'm going to tell you, on July the 28th, 1930, you did not want to be in Holly Springs, Mississippi.
Yeah, there
a state record 115 degrees.
And no air conditioner.
Oh! Man.
That's cooking. I mean,
that is
It's like
Those
Death
folks that were
Valley.
in Holly Springs in 1930 saying, you boys are talking about 95 degrees like it's something.
Yeah, 20 degrees higher than that. Think about it.
1958, President Eisenhower signed into law the National Aeronautics and Space Act, establishing NASA. 1996, Major League Baseball manager, primarily for the, well, I guess exclusively for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Tommy Lasorda retired. 1,599 wins, 4 NL pennants, 2 World Series titles. It was on this day in 2016 that Hillary Clinton officially accepted the Democratic nomination for president for the Democrat Party at the DNC convention in Philadelphia, becoming the first woman nominated by a major U.S. party. I feel like I've heard her name in the news a little bit lately. Have you?
Well, for health concerns and stuff like that, yeah, I read a few articles that were speculating on her health,
Yeah.
that it wasn't doing very well.
Major League Baseball Hall of Fame 2018 class. Atlanta Braves Chipper Jones was inducted. He wasn't the only one. Pretty good group here.
Yeah.
Alan Trammell, Trevor Hoffman, Vlad Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Jack Morris.
What were the two things that Trevor Hoffman and Jack Morris had in common?
A fastball and...
The nastiest split fingers in the game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Trevor's would just fall off the table. Jack was one of the first to really use it exclusively, but yeah, those two guys mastered it, and that's why they're in the Hall of Fame.
And then finally, we go all the way back to 2019. You remember this? You remember this, Lance?
Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't.
You remember this, don't you?
No.
Take my horse to the
Combination
old
of
town road. I'm gonna ride
Lil
till
Nas
I
X and
can't
Billy
no
Ray
more.
Cyrus.
Horses in the back, horse stock is a
I can't believe you don't remember that.
No, but I mean,
You've
Billy
just
Ray
chosen not
Cyrus
to.
is my Twitter handle picture, so.
Record for the longest run at the top of the singles charts in the United States, set by a country rap single, Old Town Road. Lil Nas X, remixed with Billy Ray Cyrus, spent 17 weeks at number 1. Can't make that up, man.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's truth, though, huh?
You know, you make me laugh sometimes because you don't give me a hard time about it. Hayden and Borky used to give me a hard time about it. You just kind of accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
In terms of pop cultural references, I'm kind of out. And your movies are not that funny. The quotes aren't. The shows I probably didn't watch. Outside of a handful. But for you not to get a pop cultural reference about Old Town Road,
I don't know it,
that's
man.
been
That ain't my style.
17 weeks at number 1.
I don't listen to that stuff, man. I'm not listening to any remix junk between a rapper and a country person. That's just that's just not my cup of tea. So just being
Well, I
honest.
understand that.
And
But I feel like it would have
didn't register on
bumped
my
into
radar
you somewhere along the way.
Never even heard it, man. I tried to listen to it earlier. I'm like, that hit 17 weeks?
17
Lord,
weeks?
How did I miss this? But I
That's
did.
4 months.
I know it. Yeah, I don't know where I was. Was 2019? That was COVID. Yeah, I don't think.
No, that's pre-COVID, man. That was before COVID.
Okay. Well, I was just working, man. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody was still partying like rock stars in 2019.
Yeah, I was in Oxford working, so
No masks?
bartending.
Yeah. Let's see here. CC says, today is the first day I have ever heard of that myself. All right.
Hey, thank you,
Good for you,
CC.
CC.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, buddy.
Hey, Mississippi State is entering some groundbreaking territory with an AI-related partnership with Amazon Web Services. The university will be the first in the state, first in the Southeastern Conference, for that matter, to implement the major company's artificial intelligence platform to enhance engagement with prospective students, alumni, and supporters. So they're going to use the existing technology they have within the university, match it up with Quintillion, which is an education data and technology firm. They're gonna team up and roll in Amazon Web Services AI interface so that they can do a better job following up, figuring out what people like, and doing personalized communication, as I understand it. Sid Salter, who's Sid, strategic communications guy. Probably see Sid later this week at the fair. He said this is a bold step forward in how we connect with present and future Bulldogs. Using AWS's AI technology, we can optimize and transform the initial contacts and experiences with MSU and make sure that every prospective student and every member of our university community feels appreciated and understood from their very first interaction with Mississippi State. Very cool. Does that mean like a robot follows up with them, or is it a robot gives the information to a person to follow up? Or does a robot...
It'll be a robot at some point.
I mean, not like a robot like we typically think of a robot. Yeah. Anyway, neat deal. Pat McAfee, the sometimes controversial radio/TV host/announcer/wrestling guy/former punter with the Indianapolis Colts, teammate of Peyton Manning, etc. That guy. He has apologized to a person with ties to the state of Mississippi. That young woman is Mary Kate Cornett. You may remember her name from the spring. Burner accounts, anonymous online profiles intended to conceal a user's identity, flooded platforms like X and Snapchat, claiming that Cornett had been romantically involved with her boyfriend's father. That was back in February. Allegations spread. People picked it up online, including Pat McAfee. Cornett was 19 at the time. She strongly denied the allegations, filed police reports with local law enforcement and the FBI, trying to find out the origins of where the rumors began. She even went public to express her dismay with those who engaged in gossip about a situation that she claims that ruined her life, specifically calling out Pat McAfee. For his part, McAfee did not talk about it publicly, but did go to Cornett's family in person, had conversations with them about his role in the anguish he caused, and apologized for contributing to another human suffering. The two parties have been in contact. The Cornett family's legal counsel confirmed that issues involving the former NFL punter have since been resolved.
He'd have been missing some teeth if he'd have talked about my daughter like that. I don't care about the dang apology. That's classless.
More than $288,000 in agricultural property purchased by phony cashier's checks has been recovered by Mississippi authorities. The Mississippi Ag and Livestock Theft Bureau. I didn't know that was a thing. Got a report back on April 30th about a tractor that had been bought in Rankin County with a fake check. The alleged fraud victim contacted authorities. Law enforcement began what would ultimately become a multi-state investigation. Stolen tractor led to the recovery of other pieces of stolen property, including trucks, cars, tractors, and ATVs, all bought on Facebook Marketplace with bogus checks. There are about a dozen law enforcement agencies in multiple states involved. Good job, fellas and ladies. Well done.
Waking up Mississippi. From South Haven to Scuba, it's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Ocklawaha, Mississippi, southwest part of Panola County. Ghost town. 1938, Federal Writers Project wrote up a sketch of the town and surmised its name to be derived Chickasaw and Choctaw languages, meaning healing waters. However, more recent scholarship rejects the healing waters interpretation and purports the name of the town to mean broken and bent down trees or firewood.
Firewood.
Post office was operational in Ocklawaha from 1900 until 1921. Ronnie Musgrove, born and raised there. Town had a population of 42 at the time. The more you know.
Yeah, Mississippi has some hidden gems out there.
Yeah. We mentioned the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, talking about the 2018 class. Time for your sports headlines on this Monday morning. Sports headlines brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com. I know some of you hanging out at the fair this week are going to be making trips back and forth between, Fair Cabin and Pearl River Resort because you got to hankering to hit the golf course while you're off work. And before things get going at the fair, you're going to go over to Dancing Rabbit. You can book your tee time online at dancingrabbitgolf.com. Some of you might even slip over because you like the table games. And that's a good way to cool off a bit while you are doing the Neshoba County Fair. Whatever the reason you're headed, remember, Pearl River Resort is your place for family fun, live entertainment, and casino thrills. Visit them online, pearlriverresort.com. Ichiro Suzuki became the first Japanese-born player to be enshrined into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Happened yesterday. One of 5 new members in the Hall. Went in with a group including C.C. Sabathia, Billy Wagner, and posthumously 2 enshrined Dick Allen and Dave Parker. So for most of his career, Ichiro Suzuki, preferred to use an interpreter. Not yesterday for his speech. And some of the people that were there said, hey, you actually got to see some of Ichiro's personality shine through. He said in his remarks yesterday, for the 3rd time, I am a rookie. Now a rookie in the Hall of Fame after being a rookie in the big leagues, and prior to that, a rookie in Japanese baseball. When Hall of Fame voting was announced, Ichiro Suzuki fell 1 vote shy of becoming just the 2nd unanimous selection for the Hall of Fame. He thanked the writers for their support in his speech yesterday, with one exception. He said, 3,000 career hits, 262 hits in one season are achievements recognized by the writers. Except, one of you. A lot of people laughed. After the laughter decided, Suzuki mentioned that all the gracious comments that were announced and offered to invite the writer who didn't vote for him on the first ballot to dinner in his home to learn his reasoning why. Yesterday in his Hall of Fame acceptance speech and remarks, he said, the offer to the one writer to have dinner at my home has now expired. All right, Lance, you want stats?
Oh, yeah, he blew him up, didn't he?
No, I'm not. No, I don't mean just his stat line. I'm talking about in comparison.
Yeah.
All right, these are members of Major League Baseball's 3,000 hit club with the number of hits they already had when they were 26 years old. All right? You following?
Mm-hmm.
Ty Cobb had the most. Through the age of 26, Ty Cobb had amassed 1,600 hits. Hank Aaron, he had 1,309 hits when he turned 26. Cal Ripken, 1,084. George Brett, 1,082. Derek Jeter had 1,008 hits through his 26-year-old age. Pete Rose had 899. So he went on to a great career throughout his 30s. Guess how many hits Ichiro Suzuki had at the age of 26 in Major League Baseball? Zero.
Yeah, he was in Japan.
Not a hit. Came to the United States at, 26, 27 years old, and began his journey to 3,000 hits there.
Yeah, he was a legend in Japan long before he got here.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 5'9"? It says
it says 5'11".
Yeah, when he was drafted though, originally 5'9", 130-pounder as a teenager, when he started playing the pro ball. Huge work ethic, obviously. Played with the Oryx Blue Wave in '92, and by '94 he was an absolute star in Japan.
He's a stud.
Yeah, didn't take long for him to figure that out.
Nope. Will the real Death Valley please stand up?
California, or talking about football?
No. We're talking about football.
So you got to be talking about Clemson. It can't be LSU. No way.
LSU and Clemson both play in stadiums nicknamed Death Valley. Bit of a back and forth ensuing leading up to their season opening game in the South Carolina version that Brian Kelly has referred to as Death Valley Jr. Now, Brian Kelly is the head coach of the LSU Tigers, not the Clemson Tigers. He says you want great habits when they're needed, and when you're on the road and you're playing in Death Valley Jr., not the Death Valley, that's what you need. You need those traits on a day-to-day basis. Clemson players asked about it, didn't really take the bait. They can have their opinion, Clemson defensive end T.J. Parker said. We're going to handle all that on August 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dabo Swinney, for his part, in a separate interview, said, look, it's not even a debate. It's settled. The real Death Valley is in Clemson, South Carolina. He says Clemson began using Death Valley in 1948. LSU didn't start until 1959 after a win against Clemson. He says, we don't have to prove that. That's a fact. Google it. I love it.
Yeah, Dabo's an authority on stuff, you know. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Google
it.
Yeah, Google that stuff, man.
How good is that one going to be?
Should be a good ball game.
LSU has lost 5 straight season openers. Will it be 6 in a row after this year? Former Ole Miss, well, no. That's Chris Malloy would throw something at me for saying that. Ole Miss golfer who chose to return to school for one more season, Michael Lasasso, the reigning national champion, has had a chance to play in several PGA Tour events as an amateur this year. And truth be told, the results have not been great. And it's a big step. It's a big step going from college golf to the PGA Tour. This past weekend, Lasasso looked like he belonged, including with a third round. I had it right here. Where is it? Third round 63. He shot 69 in his opening round, 68 in the second round, made the cut on the number. Goes out and fires 63 early Saturday morning, followed it up with a 73, 2 over par yesterday. Finished 11 under par, minus 11 for the tournament, good enough for a tie for 44th place. And it's crazy, Lance. You look out there to the far right column, and it shows how much money everybody wins.
Yeah.
Kurt Kitayama, the winner of the tournament, $1,512,000. You tied for 20th, you got $95,000. Tied for 28th, you get almost $51,000. Then you look out there beside Michael Lasasso's name, you see the guys tied for 44th. They all made $24,696, which is not bad.
No, covered
Michael
your trip.
Lasasso, competing as an amateur, got 0. But probably built some confidence in Minneapolis this weekend at the 3M Open.
Yeah, you go 11 under over a weekend against pros. Man, that's a heck of a round.
Pretty darn good.
I watched the Happy Gilmore #2 yesterday instead of real golf.
Hadn't gotten there yesterday yet. I guess I will eventually. That may be one of those that I download and watch on a plane once football season gets here.
Yeah.
Like, I'll knock it out at this point. That is your sports update, your morning sports update brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online, pearlriverresort.com. For casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment, visit Pearl River Resort. I think I've told you about guests this morning. Dr. Dan Edney, State Health Officer of the Mississippi Department of Health, will be by in the 7 o'clock hour. Some cat named JT going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll take a look at what's going on with the SuperTalk Mississippi news team. But for now, you got Lance and me, Richard Cross. More MRC after this.
Trying to keep her out of sight. Sneaking Sally through the alley. When up pops the wife, I said I can't find nothing wrong with being friends, 'cause sometimes she lets me use the car.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center, I'm Patty Steele. Venable Glass has 2 locations in Richland and Brandon, locally owned and operated with free mobile service for you in the Tri-County area. Traffic moving smoothly right now. We are all clear with no accidents or major congestion. Trust Southeastern Services with your heavy haul transportation needs. Their operators are experienced with driving both the fleet and operating the equipment they haul. Choose Southeastern Services, your trusted partner on the road. 601-292-9932.
This is Eric Clark with First South Farm Credit. At First South, we specialize in rural land financing. Whether it's a large tract or 10-acre home site outside the city limits, we offer very competitive interest rates, flexible terms, and quick turnaround. Let me customize a loan package for you. Please call me, Eric Clark, at 601-898-8540. That's 601-898-8540, or find us online at firstsouthland.com.
So when are you going to check that thing off your to-do list?
Right, that. I don't know. How about next week?
How about now?
Or I could do it later, right?
No more putting it off. Do it now so you don't forget. You want this and have for a while.
You're right. I want this.
You deserve this, and it can help you in the long run. There, I just logged on to homescc.edu. We're getting you registered right now.
Wait. Hold up. I thought you had to show up on site to register at Homes.
You can do either one. You know that career you talk about all the time? The life you dream about? It starts today. How does that famous quote go?
Don't. Please don't.
The secret to getting ahead is...
getting started.
Fall classes start August 18th, and we don't do Fridays at home. Register at a campus near you Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 3:30, or right now at homecc.edu. And when you come to Home CC, your tuition could be free with a 20 on your ACT.
Holmes Community College.
No place like Holmes.
For a flipping good time, come down to Cock of the Walk.
The big news is shrimp at Cock of the Walk. Try all our shrimp offerings with our new shrimp platter, combination plates with shrimp and catfish or shrimp and chicken, or put a feather in your cap with all 3 in the red feather sampler. And don't forget the greens and coleslaw too, with locations on the Reservoir, Pocahontas, and 1 mile from the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee.
For a flipping good time, come down to Cock of the Walk.
I like chicken. I like fish. I like hush puppies.
I love it. Catfish is excellent.
For a flipping good time, come down to Cock of the Walk.
Looking for help with HR benefits and payroll? MWG Employer Services offers a wide range of services and can create a custom plan that fits your needs and budget.
I was so overwhelmed with HR stuff. MWG Employer Services took all the stress out of it and even set up my payroll. I couldn't be happier.
MWG Employer Services is here to help you succeed. Call us today at 601-206-7966 or go to MWGEmployerServices.com.
Hey, it's Richard Cross from SuperTalk, Mississippi. Be sure to catch the college football fix every day at 5, driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealers. Now is a great time to buy a Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Get amazing deals on Ford trucks and SUVs like the Ford Explorer and Ford F-Series trucks. Ford is America's all-time best-selling auto brand, and Ford F-Series trucks make it easy to get the job done with its legacy of hauling power. Don't miss these deals during Ford's Summer Sales Event going on now at your local Mississippi Ford dealer.
Go beyond the headlines on Middays with Gerard Gibbert. Weekdays 10 to 1 here on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Want to know what's happening in Mississippi politics?
Yes.
You're in the right place. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
I got to get back in my routine, Lance. I guess about a year ago, that jackpot got just right. And I had an alarm set on my phone. About 8:45, knowing that they quit selling those Powerball tickets at 9 o'clock. And if need be, I would stop what I was doing, including a bedtime story, and jet off and grab a couple. And I've gotten out of my routine twice last week. I found myself at 9:45 going, oh, wait, what time is it?
Oopsie daisy.
Man, I missed it. But the good news for me and the good news for you is that nobody has won that Powerball jackpot yet. Powerball, just one of the games available to you through the Mississippi Lottery, mslottery.com. You remember when you used to have to drive to another state if you wanted to play the Powerball? I do. Made a few runs to Memphis, or maybe happened to be in Memphis, looked like the pot was right, and I was like, hey, let's jump in on that. Now all I got to do is jump in the car and run around the corner. Estimated jackpot for tonight's drawing, $364 million. That's a cash value of $164,100,000. I mean, after taxes and everything. Government won't get its greedy hands out of your pocket, but after they finally do, you're still going to have almost $100 million. And as they like to say, Lance, that dog will hunt.
Yeah, I can do some damage with $100 million.
Saturday night's numbers were 8, 31, 57, 65, and 67. The Powerball was 23. Power play multiplier was 3 as well. Mega Millions creeping up a bit, $130 million for the jackpot now. Next drawing for that coming your way on Tuesday night. Last week, the lottery office's claims office paid out a little over $1.4 million. That number's going to be going up soon because we saw some of those big winners in Mississippi last week. Retailers paid out about $4.3 million as well. Tupelo man won $38,000 on 10 tickets from Stop and Shop of Aberdeen.
I don't know how that was done, but congratulations.
Do you think that was 10 consecutive tickets on the same roll?
Yes.
Or do you think he said, give me a number 5, give me a number 11,
usually
give me a 17?
It's like the latter, yeah. When standing around watching, it's usually people picking, 10 different type tickets, and then one of them may win. I haven't seen anybody, in front of me buy like 4 or 5 of the same ticket. So, but again, that's assuming, what they say about assuming stuff.
$20 scratch off. My Lottery Dream Home paid off for a Meridian man. Won $100,000 on a ticket from Bonita Chevron in Meridian. He said, hey, pal, you had to buy 10 tickets to get $38K. It was easier for me. I just got one.
Yeah.
They gave me $100.
Yeah, that's
love it.
$100K, though.
There you go.
I wouldn't know what I'd do. I'd probably, as you're scratching, you hope you're still sitting in the parking lot. You're not trying to do it while you drive or something.
Well, I don't think they're going to let you just go back into the cash register and collect your winnings.
I'm saying what would happen, I would probably have a heart attack, if I saw that I'd won $100K sitting in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? This can't be right.
Yeah.
Go back in and have them check that.
C-Spire text line 601-879-4395. I wonder, Lance, what is the cutoff number in terms of you win a prize, a sizable lottery prize. What is the cutoff between you just drive straight to the lottery claims office and say, give me my money, please, versus you take the ticket, put it in a safe deposit box or a safe or somewhere really, really secret, and you call an attorney and you call your financial advisor and you try to figure out whether you need to set up an LLC or some sort of a foundation, you just keep your identity quiet and the whole deal. What's the cutoff on that?
That's a good question. I mean,
if I were to get $1 million ticket, I think I'm going straight to the
I'm going. I don't care what it is. I'm going to get the big check. The one that you can barely put in the car, and I'm walking in the bank with that thing.
Happy Gilmore style.
I'm walking in the bank with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. At $10 million?
I'm doing it at $10K, so.
No. I'm talking about the financial advisor the whole, if it's $10 million, do you go talk to your guy or your gal or go get a guy or a gal?
I wouldn't. I've spent so long doing it. I would feel pretty comfortable, managing my own money and spending it, so.
All right, what if you won the big boy?
Big boy, same thing. I'd just start blowing cash.
Not even going to talk with an attorney about setting up some sort of a
taxes.
trust.
I just want taxes paid, and then I'll live like a king. Ain't gonna worry about paying any attorneys and all that.
Lance gonna be one of those cautionary tales lottery winnings, now
you
destitute and homeless.
Hey, if that's the way it works, that's the way it works.
He said, but we had a good time while we had it.
Good time, buddy. Yes, sir.
News is next, 7 o'clock hour on the way. Donald Trump doing work over the weekend, even while people thought he was just playing golf.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Welcome to the show.
Step right up and don't be shy, because you will not believe your eyes. She's right here behind the glass. You're gonna like her, 'cause she's got class.
Thanks for joining us. 7 o'clock hour on this Monday morning. Today is the 28th of July, nearing the end of the month. We're glad to be with you. Alongside Lance Talbert, I'm Richard Cross, and we thank you for joining us. C Spire text line is open. If you want to join the conversation, that is the best way to do just that. Looking for game-changing technology? You need C Spire on your team. 5G wireless, fiber, home internet, and business IT solutions built as tough as your defense. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. This hour of the show is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. That's their website, MWGEmployerservices.com. If you've got issues with payroll, benefits management, anything HR related, then you're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They can provide a full range of employer services plus a custom plan that fits you. Give them a call today, 601-206-7966, or go to MWGEmployerservices.com. C-Spire text line, have you heard anything about Shad White not being on the speaking lineup at the fair? It's almost like you took a look at my notes for this morning in advance. Talk about that a little bit at the end of the hour, but no. Shad White is not on the speaker lineup, the state auditor. He is the only statewide elected official in Mississippi that is not speaking at the fair on either Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll get into that later this morning. Let's go in reverse order. So most recent first. Saw this online just a little while ago. Less than 24 hours after Donald Trump warned that he would not make any deal with Thailand or Cambodia unless they stopped the fighting, both countries agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire starting at midnight. Not one of these ceasefires that's got, 12 days to do this and 13 days to do that, and when this missile fires, that missile can fire. Not one of those. They're shutting it down at midnight tonight. They want a trade deal with the United States, Thailand and Cambodia. Two countries that do a lot of work for the United States. There is a good chance that you have an article of clothing or an item in your home that says made in Thailand or made in Cambodia, especially in the apparel markets. So Thailand and Cambodia stopped fighting. Now they got to try and hammer out a trade deal with the United States. That's part of what Donald Trump was doing this weekend. He went to Scotland, played a little golf at his golf course, Turnberry. And there were a lot of people who were like, while Americans are struggling back home, the president is off to Scotland to play golf. He had a meeting or two while he was there, and it appears they got some work done. Lance, there are lots of people that say the biggest deals get done on the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this was one of them that got done.
Those things are $750 billion, $600 billion, opening up the country. We are agreeing that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%.
All right. $750 billion in purchases that the European Union agrees to make from the United States, primarily in energy. A $600 billion investment into the United States economy. Details of that still to come. And the trade agreement. Exports from the United States into the European Union, no tariff. Imports to the United States coming from the European Union, 15%. Now, those that are against tariffs across the board will quickly tell you that, well, that's going to be higher prices, for you at home. And yes, that possibility does exist. There is a chance that will be the case. And there's no spinning that. But at some point, Jane and I were talking about this yesterday. At some point, the conversation is about the economy writ large, like all of it. And yes, while there is a possibility that prices do go up a bit, you recognize the larger picture. If U.S. manufacturers in the automobile space, in the chemical space, in the farm space have the ability to export to all of the entire European Union, all of the countries that make up the EU, and there are no tariffs on those exports, aren't they going to make more? Aren't they going to produce more? Isn't that going to create more jobs? If the president continues to announce multi-$100 billion investments into the U.S. economy, isn't that overall pretty good for the United States economy? Maybe I'm not looking at this the right way. And I knew, I was just waiting. I knew it was coming. Text message, imagine being a whiny Democrat who on their best day can only make a media statement while an almost 80-year-old plays at least 18 holes and gets trade deals done at the same time. And then here's Thomas. So consumer buying power is overrated. LOL. Good morning. I didn't say consumer buying power is overrated at all. At all. Not remotely close.
The thing is, with inflation, and I don't like getting off on a soapbox here, but as we see, you bring huge chunks of money in, you reduce the deficit that you have on the all the interest and all this junk you're paying by creating more revenue. Inflation generally is caused by this huge gap that is unfunded, so to speak, where we've spent all this money that we don't have money to repay it with. That generally is what causes inflation to accelerate. So by reducing that problem, hopefully, as you said, you may see higher prices in the short run, but in the long run, if the strategy pays off, not saying it will, but the game is to create more revenue, build more taxing on those businesses, and therefore reducing the deficit by revenue. And hopefully you'll see some cuts here somewhere along the way that may help as well. But this is not a complex strategy. Yes, upfront tariffs and these types of things may cause an upfront price increase, but over the long haul, you're hoping that it settles down and creates less of an inflationary pressure as you reduce interest rates, which is Trump is really trying to do. So reducing interest rates creates more soft money, and it could create inflation. So in order to combat that, you need to bring business back in, which he did a lot on a golf course the other day.
Kind of feels like that's happening
regularly,
just about every time we get one of these announcements.
Yeah.
And this was a really interesting interaction. There was a reporter that asked a question of Ursula von der Leyen, who represented the European Union on the negotiation front. And, I'll let you listen to it yourself. Here you go.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for the EU Commission President. What are the U.S. concessions? What is the U.S. giving up in the deal, if anything?
So the starting point was an imbalance, a surplus on our side and a deficit on the U.S. side. And we wanted to rebalance the trade relation. And we wanted to do it in a way that trade goes on between the two of us across the Atlantic, because the two biggest economies should have a good trade flow between us. And I think we hit exactly the point we wanted to find.
She used a lot of words to say nothing. I mean, she absolutely said something, but the answer to the question was, what concessions did the United States make in this negotiation? None. None. And we talk about the imbalance. The United States was paying tariffs on its exports that were far more significant than the European Union was paying on its exports to the United States. The automobile industry from the United States has been prohibitive, has basically not been open into the European Union. That changed with this deal. I would imagine if you woke up in Detroit this morning, or anywhere else that cars are manufactured in the United States, you're pretty fired up about that new market no longer having tariffs on exports, I would think. All right, we'll take a time out. Dr. Dan Edney will join us. Coming up next, it's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Find out what's happening across your state. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
You have some lovely children and a lovely wife. You have a healthy bank account and had a healthy life. But you knew the day was coming. It was always meant to be. The doctor says it's time to have a colonoscopy. Oh, colonoscopy. A wonderful procedure, as everyone can see. Your number's up, it's time to take one for the team. It's right there on the schedule, a colonoscopy.
Good to be with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of the conversation. First guest this morning joins us right now, Dr. Dan Edney, who is the State Health Officer at the Mississippi State Department of Health. He always gets a chuckle out of Lance Music Choice. Good morning, Dr. Dan.
Good morning, Richard. My walk-up song, colonoscopy song.
That is it. How are you?
I am well. That reminds me to tell everybody, make sure 45 and older, get your colonoscopy done.
There you go. I got a year. Well, I've got less than a year. I've got months remaining, and then I've got to go in and do it. That's not something that we could do live on the air, is it?
Well, we could if it would be your choice. You probably would choose otherwise, though.
Not a good plan.
That wouldn't bother me.
I gave blood on the air one time. That was not a problem. I guess this is a little more invasive. A little.
Well, we could appropriately drape you. It's definitely invasive.
that would be a good plan. Let's make sure that we've got the draping in place. All right, so we're kind of into what a lot of people call the dog days of summer, going from the end of July into August. A lot of those colds and allergy stuff that people were dealing with earlier in the summer when everything was budding, the pollen counts were so incredibly high. Some of that has calmed down a little bit. What are we dealing with right now primarily?
Well, heat, and more heat. And, the worrisome thing is we're not to the hottest days yet. As we all know, August is the worst. And people forget, I'm old enough that we didn't start school until right after Labor Day.
Right.
And that was because, the old days we needed to get, the crops planted, but also most of the schools didn't have air conditioning, so we needed to let things cool down a bit. So we have moved starting school into August, which means at school we need to be careful with outside activities and make sure that we're watching the students not to become overheated at recess or with preschool or after-school activities, and really be vigilant. It does not take very long for someone to become overheated, and we have to remember children and older folks become overheated much more quickly. Children have a smaller body surface area, so it's harder for them to unload the heat, and older folks have a more difficult time regulating their heat. So really we pay closest attention to the youngest and the oldest of our population and make sure you know the warning signs of becoming overheated. And one thing people don't realize, everybody knows you start sweating really heavily, which we all do this time of year. That's an early sign, but the danger sign is when you stop sweating. So when you've been sweating heavily and then you stop, that's a really very high-risk sign that you need to get cooled down quickly. And if you start becoming really tachycardic and dizzy, and those that are around individuals becoming overheated, if they're becoming confused, then you need to dial 911 and jump on these things quickly.
I was having a conversation with a couple of football coaches, and they've been going through summer workouts, and most high school football programs have either started practice or they are about to start practice, and they'll go into full pads, which means it's hotter. You're not getting rid of as much of the sweat or allowing the heat to get away. The approach that coaches take seems to have changed pretty dramatically. We hear the stories. You mentioned old enough to remember going to school after Labor Day. We remember the stories where salt tablets was what coaches and trainers gave to players. Just take this salt tablet. That'll be good for you. And then it was like water was a reward for doing well as opposed to keeping people hydrated. That mindset seems to have gone away almost completely.
It has, thankfully, and that came about because one of the early signs of heat exhaustion are muscle cramps. And everybody knows, salt tablets will calm down the cramping, but what it does is it draws more water out of the cells and actually increases your sodium levels in your bloodstream, which is the last thing that you want to do with heat exhaustion. So the best way to treat muscle cramps is to avoid becoming dehydrated. And best things coaches can do to improve performance of their athletes is to keep them hydrated. The best way to hydrate, this is why University of Florida developed Gatorade back in the 70s, was because salt tablets were exactly the wrong thing to do. Gatorade was formulated to replace the proper levels of electrolytes that would help eliminate the muscle cramps, but also hydrate in a safe way. And you actually have to be careful with water, just pure water, because if you drink too much pure water too fast, then your sodium level can go too low. So we need that balance, and that's why sports drinks are really helpful. But what we tell people, like just cutting grass, working outside in the summertime, is don't drink just to thirst levels, drink past thirst. So make yourself drink, and once you feel that your thirst is quenched, drink a little bit more to make sure that you're staying ahead of your hydration needs.
Visiting with Dr. Dan Edney. He's the State Health Officer for the Mississippi State Department of Health. We can't help sometimes but look in the rearview mirror. 5 years ago, give or take, there was so much debate and conversation around the COVID vaccine or vaccines, and there were people on both sides of the issue, right? There were the absolutely not, I will not put this into my body, we don't know enough about it, and then the people on the other side of the issue were, you almost shamed people if they didn't take the COVID vaccine. We continue to learn more about that. We've heard news about this being eliminated from requirements for school-age children. Where are we in Mississippi today with regard to COVID vaccinations?
They're available if you want them. They've never been mandated in Mississippi. They're not part of the school-age vaccination required schedule. They've been recommended by the CDC for everyone 6 months and older. But, Richard, we're in a different place in 2025. I will never forget 2020 because I was a practicing physician in the ICUs of Vicksburg and in the clinics in Vicksburg and fighting the pandemic. And people have forgotten how dangerous the Delta wave was and how many Mississippians we lost. We lost over 15,000 Mississippians during the pandemic, and those families will never forget. I have folks that were near and dear to my heart that I lost prior to the vaccination being available, and then lost a lot of patients prior to the vaccine being available. So the vaccine was a godsend for getting us over the hump in the pandemic when none of us had any immunity. But today we all have, immunity. COVID is no longer a novel virus. A novel virus is what is so dangerous when no one's body has ever seen the virus. There's no way for the population to fight it together, but now we can. I'm in my 60s. I'm taking the COVID booster as part of my fall winterization of my body, getting the flu shot, COVID shot, keeping my RSV vaccine up to date. Younger people, it's purely up to them based on their health risk and consultation with their physicians. No one is pushing COVID vaccination, but we're encouraging vulnerable populations to consider it. And this is what we call shared decision making, where your individual health risk and consultation with your physician or provider is the way to go.
From a medical perspective, from a practicing physician perspective, when you think back to 2020, what do we get right and what do we wish we had a redo on?
We got a lot right and we got a lot wrong. The biggest error was we had models in place that were based on influenza virus. And this virus behaved nothing like the flu virus, other than respiratory as the entry point. And I well remember as we were trying to treat severely ill COVID patients that were needing to be on the ventilator and were having difficulty ventilating them, all the things that work in flu just were not working with COVID. We were having to ventilate people on their stomachs, which we've never had to do. We were just having to figure a lot of things out. What we got right is President Trump and Operation Warp Speed it was a gamble, but it paid off, and it brought vaccination forward for the highest risk populations much more quickly than we could have otherwise, and saved millions of lives around the world, and probably hundreds of thousands in the United States. What we got wrong is, now this is at the federal level. At the state level, we were doing this. You need to tell people what you know and what you don't know. And if you don't know something, be honest with people. And that has been my biggest criticism of the CDC during those years, is they were not being transparent to us at the state level of what they truly did not know.
Dr. Dan Edney is the state health officer here in Mississippi. We will continue the conversation coming up on the other side of this short break. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Film.
County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
From the White House to your hometown, this is where you find out what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Went to the doctor to check out what's matter.
Glad to be with you on this Monday morning, start of a new week. Today, the 28th of July. Thanks for joining us. You can be part of the conversation on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Dr. Dan Edney is my guest, state health officer here in the state of Mississippi. Dr. Edney, I've gotten a couple of variations of this question, and I know it's one that you've gotten before. Sometimes it's asked in a combative way. I'm going to try not to do that. But there are people that were talking about the deaths that were related to COVID, whether it was vaccine-related or otherwise. And the question that people have said, yeah, but how many of those people had other underlying conditions, had comorbidities, and perhaps would have died regardless, but COVID has been blamed for it?
Well, then you made the data that we work off of is death certificate data. And as a practicing physician, I have an ethical responsibility and a legal responsibility to report that information to the state correctly. And in 2020, when we were seeing a horrible number of COVID deaths, and those deaths started falling off after the vaccine came on board. It's just all you have to do is look at the epidemic curve, and you will see it. As I was pronouncing folks dying of COVID, if I listed number one, COVID pneumonia, then that was my professional opinion that COVID was the cause of death. If COVID were, a coincident factor, then it was further down the list. And we're, that 15,000, those are vetted deaths that were related to COVID infections. Now, I'll tell you, I'm happy to push back on the fact that 63 years old, my age is a comorbid condition, but I still don't want to die of the flu. Just because I'm 63. So if I die at 63, it's not okay that I died of the flu. The flu was a preventable death, and COVID now is a preventable death. And back in 2020, we had a large number of 50-year-olds dying. Just go back and look at the epidemiologic curve. Today we don't. Most of our COVID deaths, we still have them, are folks in their 70s and 80s who are, older and with other health conditions. But I still, as someone who was a nursing home director, I don't want my patients who are living life and enjoying life at 78 to die of an unnecessary infection that they otherwise don't have to die from. So that's why, vaccination for flu, COVID, RSV won't necessarily keep the infection from happening, but it sure can keep you from dying, which is why I choose at 63 to take the vaccines, because I don't want to die from them. I also don't want to be really sick for a week. My son, who's 38, it's up to him and his doctor. I don't push him on that.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point, and I'm wondering if maybe that's the root of it for a lot of people. It's the idea that, a mandate versus a personal decision about your own health.
Right.
And I think that's what I hear you saying with regard to those decisions, whereas we were in that window where it was, you go get it. If you want to work, you have to do this. In a lot of cases, not everywhere, but with a lot of big companies, if you wanted to continue to work, you were required to show proof of that vaccine versus, hey, this is what we recommend, this is what we suggest, this is why we suggest it, now you go make your own health decision.
But I tell you what we have gotten right in Mississippi is our school-age vaccine law that's been in place since 1979, which is why you have not seen any measles cases in Mississippi despite an explosion of measles in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. And measles cases being all around us. We've had 0 cases. We've not had a case of measles, an endemic case of measles since 1992. We've had no measles deaths since the 1970s. And I want to keep it that way. There's no reason for babies to die from measles. You were asking what one of the biggest things we're up against right now, and other than heat, is pertussis, whooping cough. We're having a real surge this year of whooping cough, especially in northeast Mississippi. Whooping cough can be deadly in infants who have small airways. So all of us can get whooping cough, but it's the babies that have the hardest time. So we really have a campaign going to make sure folks understand the importance that we have a great vaccination. We've had it for a long time, well tested, works very well for pertussis. But reminding folks my age, if you're having your first grandchild, you may have whooping cough and it not make you that sick, but you can give it to your new infant grandchild and cause them to be sick and possibly die. So we want all new grandparents to get their booster, which gives them opportunity. Go ahead and get your tetanus booster, which you need every 10 years. But you can get the Tdap, which has tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis all together to boost, which, man, 7 years ago, Richard, I was so proud to get that shot with the birth of my first grandchild.
Good for you. Dr. Dan Edney visiting with us. I want to switch gears for a second. As the leading health officer in the state of Mississippi, I know it's a lot about medicine and a lot about keeping people healthy, but there is an administrative part of your job as well related to funding and funding needs that the state health department is going to be dealing with going forward. rural medicine is dealing with as well. We've seen all of the headlines and the bullet points from the One Big Beautiful Bill, but sometimes the details are what really matter. I know there's not 100% clarity on what funding is going to look like for emergency services or rural health services or Medicaid, Medicare. What is your inclination at this point? What do you anticipate in terms of, as a result of the Big Beautiful Bill, as it has so regularly been called, that looking like from a financial standpoint?
So the Triple B, the biggest impact that it will have, thankfully, it's not going to impact Medicaid tremendously for Mississippi. It will for the expansion states. As a non-expansion state, it won't hit us as hard. It is going to reduce funding to hospitals, and we'll have to be really cautious and careful as we look at rural hospitals still working to recover. They're doing better, but the funding reductions in Medicaid are really those that relate to the state direct payments that were going to the hospitals. But it is eliminating the subsidies for the marketplace exchange, and we all, through the Medicaid expansion debate, we're talking about the importance of the marketplace insurance plans for low-income workers in Mississippi, and how with the enhanced subsidies, that was a real great opportunity for folks to get insurance at a low cost. And actually, our rate of insured individuals in Mississippi went way, way up. We improved that metric in terms of the number of uninsured in the state, but those subsidies were they elected not to renew those subsidies in the Triple B, which means we probably will lose 150,000 or so people off the exchanges, which means they go back to the uninsured rolls. And these are people who are working 1, 2, some of them working 3 jobs that don't, but none of them provide insurance for them. Yeah. So the federal exchanges have been really important for providing access to care for low-income working class Mississippians who go to work every day. So that's, I know Congress is looking at that issue, and that's the biggest thing that worries me, or the impact to hospitals, the impact to low-income working Mississippians with the exchange policies.
You mentioned expansion states versus non-expansion states, and that's as it pertains to Medicaid with the governmental supplement. The governor was very much against that, and he talked about that over and over. There are a lot of people that were for the expansion of Medicaid in Mississippi. Does it feel like ultimately, now with a lot of that funding and that matching going away, that this was the right decision in Mississippi?
Well, we were the last state to accept Medicaid in 1969. We were several years. We were the last state. Now, I would argue Mississippi probably needed Medicaid more than anybody did. And looking at it from a population health perspective, until everybody in Mississippi has access to primary care medical homes in a fairly reasonable fashion, and including low-income working folks in Mississippi, it's going to be hard to reduce our rates for heart attack, stroke, cancer. We were teasing and kidding about the colonoscopy, but how do you get a colonoscopy when you're 45 years old if you're a low-income worker who has no insurance? It's just not going to happen. So the governor's perspective is legitimate. It increases the cost to the government, but also those of us who are looking at population health outcomes. My position all along has been, if we're not going to do expansion, what do we do? And the decision was to lean into the exchanges, which we have done successfully. But that's my concern, is that as a non-expansion state, that was our answer, and we're about to lose it.
Dr. Dan Edney, State Health Officer of the Mississippi State Department of Health. Always a pleasure to visit with you.
Likewise.
Appreciate your time this morning, and stay well.
Thank you. You too.
We'll take a time out. We will wrap up the 7 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross after this break. Sit tight. We got more coming up.
Come on home. I don't need no I don't need no I don't need no aspirin. I don't need no doctor. I say I don't need no vitamin pill.
From the Venable Glass.
Your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Claiming she's a good-hearted woman, never misunderstood. She never said nothing about no ball and chain. Now she's standing in the corner trying to hide her relation. She's no good.
A lot of your messages coming in on the C Spire text line. Anytime we get into a conversation about vaccines, about COVID, looking in the rearview mirror, the responses are passionate. I've read virtually all of those that have come in, and I understand your position, right? I mean, it is. I think ultimately what Dr. Edney got to that makes the most sense to me is that with where we are now, the idea of COVID vaccines or any other vaccines outside those that are mandated for children is that it's a personal health choice, right? You get to make your decision, hopefully in consultation with your physician. And your doctor's going to recommend what he or she believes is best for your health outcomes. And then you have that information so that you can make the decision that you believe is best for you. I think Dr. Edney admitted that there was a lot that the medical community did not get right during COVID, but there were some things that they did get right and will argue for. And if you have a difference of opinion, that's okay. It really is. A lighter topic as we wrap up the 7 o'clock hour. JT Mitchell going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about some of the Trump-Russia stuff and some other headlines from the weekend before we get to JT Mitchell to wrap things up about half an hour or so from right now. But you know that this past weekend, the Neshoba County Fair began. It will continue through this Saturday, I believe. And there's a lot going on. Family-friendly event. You will see visitors of all ages from, literally, Lance, running the age gamut. From newborns, people that have been going to the fair their entire life. You got a newborn? Well, it's time to get them going. All the way to folks that have, knocking on the door of a century at the Neshoba County Fair. Concerts this year headlined by the Molly Ringwalds, 49 Winchester, Larry Fleet, 38 Special. I feel like there's a theme there, maybe. You got 49 Winchester and 38 Special. A lot of good stuff. Younger guests, you've got the art contest, the petting zoo, the annual pageant program where a Little Miss Neshoba County Fair and a Junior Miss Neshoba County Fair will be crowned. Livestock shows happening, of course, the Midway with all the rides. I was talking with I guess it was my son yesterday. He's like, "So do they have rides at the fair?" I was like, "Yes, they do." He's like, "I don't think Mama thought that they had rides." I went, "They got rides. Got the Ferris wheel and the tilt-a-whirl and all the stuff. So you can do that." Political speeches. I guess the most famous that has ever happened there was former President Ronald Reagan. That famous stump speech at Founders Square back in 1980, ahead of his first stint in the White House, when he, and I'm not going to get this quote exactly right, but he basically said, "There is nowhere like this anywhere else in America." And he's right.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong about that.
Spectators this year will hear from local elected officials representing the Neshoba County area, along with a sitting congressman, a few members of the Mississippi Supreme Court, a bulk of statewide officials, and, of course, the governor, Tate Reeves. Mentioned this earlier. State Auditor Shad White is the only statewide elected official that is not scheduled to take the podium. I suppose that could change between now and the end of the fair, but at least as it stands right now, he's the only statewide that is not speaking at the fair. And I don't know if that is his decision or if that was a decision made elsewhere. I was having a conversation with somebody about the state auditor not too terribly long ago, and just last week, and feels like he's been a little quieter over the last couple of months than maybe he was a few months ago. So, Price Wallace reminds me that the house band will be playing at the Neshoba County Fair. That is quite literally a band that is made up from a few members of the Mississippi House of Representatives.
We got one of our own in there, right? Gerard is drumming with him, I believe.
Is he really?
Yeah, he went out and got his new set. He's been practicing hard.
Okay.
Working it. So, yeah, they've been...
Is Gerard a good drummer?
I think so. Yeah, he did it.
Like, outside of his own mind.
Well, he's in a band now, so, he's probably getting a lot better. He was
a drummer.
He was rusty, I'm sure, but now he has been working it. They say they've been... I can't remember how many songs he said. They had like 12 or 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Price, what's the best song that the house band plays? Like, in your opinion, like what is the go-to? What is the one that when it comes up on the set list, you're like, this is the one we are going to crush? That's what I need to know. And also, I need to know when the house band's playing. Wednesday or Thursday? Will that happen then? Hey, news is coming up next in the 8 o'clock hour. Glad to be with you on MRC on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wake up.
Time to shine! Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Glad to be with you on this Monday morning. It's the 8 o'clock hour. For those that have been with us already for a couple of hours this morning, thanks so much. For those of you just joining in, we're glad to have you along for the ride as well. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Don't forget, there are a lot of ways you can grab the show, whether it's on your radio, which so many of you listen on the way to work when you're in the car, on the way to take the kids to school as well. And I guess this was another start day for a bunch of schools across Mississippi. We know some started last week, got some starting this week, some next week. But everybody kind of getting back into that routine with getting the kids out the door. Thanks for joining us. You can always grab us as a podcast if, maybe you got more time in the car late in the afternoon. You want to listen to Mornings with Richard Cross, you can get it as a podcast on demand at supertalk.fm. You can watch it SuperTalk TV. We try to make it as easy as possible, give you as many different options as we can so that you can consume the show, and we appreciate you doing that. You can join the conversation as well on the C Spire text line at 601-879-4395. Ready for your winning strategy? Here it is. Join C Spire. All the technology and support you need to succeed at home, at work, and everywhere else. Visit cspire.com today. C Spire, inspired by you. One more quick reminder. Genteel is the official apparel provider of SuperTalk Mississippi. If you have not given Genteel a try, then I would encourage you to do so. Their website is genteelapparel.com. Company that was founded and is based in Mississippi. They've got great-looking men's clothing, whether it's polos and shorts or pants or swimwear, out-of-wear. You got a few accessories that are available, and the collegiate collection. We are now inside 5 weeks until the opening Saturday of college football right here in the state of Mississippi. And you want to look your best on game day, whether you're headed to the Rock, to Davis Wade, or to Vaught Hemingway, they've got you covered with their collegiate collection. Different colors, different logos, different styles, all of them really good looking. And we actually, in the afternoons on SuperTalk, or Sports Talk Mississippi, are going to be giving some Gentile stuff away in the coming days. Listen for more details. Got the Not Fall Camp Tour that is coming. You know, Lance, lots of people like to call it fall camp. There is nothing fall about what is going on outside right now.
No.
So this is the camp tour, or the Not Fall Camp Tour, and we'll have some Gentile to give away.
Yeah, I'd love to win that.
Well, you know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy.
So maybe we can come up with something. So be sure to listen for more details on that. GentileApparel.com. They've got an end-of-season sale going on right now with savings up to 60% off the retail price, and just a lot of ways that you can save with our friends at Gentile. All right, so let's go to John Ratcliffe. He is the current director of the CIA, and he was on with Maria Bartiromo yesterday on Fox News. And he had some pretty telling responses. This is a little bit longer clip. I don't know that we'll play all of it. It's a little over 2 minutes. But listening to John Ratcliffe talk, it sounds like there is more to come in the Trump-Russia conspiracy files.
Referrals to the DOJ.
Well, Maria, so part of what came out last week was about how John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, they all pushed the known fake Steele dossier into intelligence community assessments and as the basis for Crossfire Hurricane and all that. But what hasn't come out yet, and what's going to come out, is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. And
the previous leaders in the intelligence community had access to every single document that John Ratcliffe now has access to as director of the CIA. And yet he is not only shining a light, but making public, declassifying these documents. And if you've had trouble, understandable, by the way, if you have had trouble keeping up with all the layers of this, like, okay, where did this start? What exactly is it that happened? I think the best summary of it is this started with Hillary Clinton. We ultimately found out that Russia had more on Clinton than they had on Trump, and they didn't release it. It was amplified by the Obama administration. Trump's entire first term as president was clouded by the Russia hoax, the idea that Russian interference is what allowed Donald Trump to win. His re-election bid was derailed, at least in part, by the lingering cloud of this investigation that was put in motion by the Clinton group. Barack Obama gets this intelligence report that basically says, no, that we can't come up with any Russian interference in the election. And he tells them to go back and look again, and all of a sudden they can come up with it. And then in a turn of events that none of these leaders within the intelligence community or the Obama crew or the Clinton crew, in a turn of events that none of them not only could wrap their mind around, I don't even think in the deepest recesses of their mind they could have imagined that after getting Trump out in 2020, he would be able to get back in 2024. And the spotlight that is being shined on this entire deal. Now, you're not getting just a ton of this in some of the legacy news sites. In fact, you've got anchors and reporters who are being extremely dismissive. Why are we talking about this now? You didn't have any problem talking about it when it was Donald Trump, Russia interfered, Russia interfered, Russia interfered. And Donald Trump believed all along that Russia did not help him win the election. In fact, any Russian involvement was actually working against him. He believed that all along, and he's been incredibly confident as he has continued to fight against this notion. Hey, here's what, Lance, one of the things that I'm wondering. So Donald Trump's been impeached twice. He's not been convicted by the Senate, but he has been impeached by the House twice. Does all of this information somehow repeal his first impeachment? Now, the second one's January 6th related, and I don't think there's any undoing of that. Only 3 American presidents that have been impeached. Donald Trump's the only one that's been impeached twice.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion, I would imagine that, the first one, you'd have to chunk it out.
I was going to say, is there any undoing an impeachment? Because the more information that comes out, the more evident it becomes that there was not Russian interference that helped Donald Trump win in 2016.
Clear the man's name.
He certainly has tried to do that. Some people are never going to be convinced one way or the other. Is it all a conspiracy? Is it all just not a coincidence? We got more with you on MRC after this.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Start your day right.
Good morning, America. How are you?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Good to be with you this morning. It is Mornings with Richard Cross. I got one more clip from that interview with Maria Bartiromo that John Ratcliffe talked about yesterday, because she asked specifically about indictments for some of the key figures. And his response, while indirect, is illuminating.
So what I think I hear you saying is there is still an opportunity for indictments, potential prosecutions, accountability from those people who may have lied under oath, like John Brennan, James Comey, and perhaps Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's why I've made the referrals that I have. D&I Gabbard has made referrals.
Yeah.
And why we're going to continue to share the intelligence that would support the ability of our Department of Justice to make bring fair and just claims against those who have perpetrated this hoax against the American people and this stain on our country.
Director, one.
All right. Just quickly, in case you need it spelled out any more clearly. The CIA does not bring charges against people. The Director of National Intelligence does not bring charges. They take evidence and they refer it to the Justice Department for review. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, and her team take that information that comes from other intelligence agencies, reviews it, and then decides whether or not charges should be brought as a result. And mentioned specifically there John Brennan, James Comey, and Hillary Clinton. And we're not so much timeline, but like summary of the story. We're talking about that a little bit before the break. What's the summary? So what? Now what? The so what or the what happened is this. A story was made up to make Donald Trump look bad and get knocked out of office. And that story was then perpetuated by the intelligence community, FBI, CIA, NSA, and whatever other three-letter agencies you want to throw in there. It was perpetuated and advanced by them, and it was all a lie to the American people, to you, to me, to us. Now, the CIA is in the business of lying.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day,
that's what they do on a global scale. But usually, it's not en masse to the American people.
No, domestically, exactly. I mean, you're meddling with things that they have no mandate to meddle with until you influenced an outcome of a presidential election by meddling. And yet, here we are years later, still trying to get to the bottom of this. Maybe the three-letter word.
Some would argue, what difference does it make now?
It makes a lot of difference.
How did it happen? Why did it happen? And how do you keep it from happening again? Was it those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it?
Or they want to.
Well, maybe so. So Ghislaine Maxwell spent about 9 hours with Todd Blanche, the assistant Attorney General, talking last week. And the report that has come out of that is she got limited immunity so that she would talk. And there are a lot of people that are kind of up in arms about the immunity piece of this. Fact of the matter is, Maxwell's already in prison. She has already been convicted of crimes and is serving a sentence related to child trafficking, etc. And the immunity that she received is that no information that she provides in the course of these interviews would result in more charges against her. Does not get her out of her prison sentence. It does not absolve her of the crimes that she has committed. And as a result of that immunity, she did not invoke any privilege when answering questions about, reportedly, about 100 people in conversations with the Department of Justice. The quote from her attorney, she did not invoke privilege, and when really pressed on exactly what she's being asked about, her lawyer said that they've asked about every single possible thing you can imagine, but then revealed that she was asked about maybe 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody and did not hold anything back. And so where will that go? They're probably, I don't know if probably is the right word. There's a modicum of patience that is necessary within the Epstein story. And I know the questions, they're coming from everywhere, right? They're coming from the right, they're coming from the left, but they're probably politically motivated on that point. But they're coming from everyday people like you and like me. They're like, why did you say you're going to release all the files, and yet you're not going to release all the files? What has become abundantly clear, and now, in fairness, some of it may be because of pressure from some of the voices on the right, the Department of Justice is not dropping this. The FBI is not dropping this. Donald Trump is not instructing them to move on. They are continuing to dig. A lot of members of Congress are pushing that the Justice Department continue to dig on this story. And probably uncomfortable for a lot of very highly placed people, influential and wealthy people in the United States, they are continuing to dig.
Good. It should make the ones that did the deeds very uncomfortable. I hope they are. I hope they move,
Yes.
See you later. Get on.
To a penal colony.
Yeah. Move
perhaps.
on over to St. Helena or something. Let's exile them.
Before, I don't know if this was once he got to Scotland. I think it was before he left for Scotland. I believe this was on Friday early in the day. President Trump was talking to reporters before heading off to Air Force One, and he made not an announcement, but at least a revelation that something the administration is thinking about. This was in response to a question with regard to the tariff revenue. We know that the majority of the tariff-generated revenue is supposed to be going to pay down debt. There's Donald Trump saying that there might be another use for some of this as well.
That actually, we have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question.
He thought that was a very good question. He got asked if there was any thought of a rebate or a stimulus or a refund for tax-paying American citizens based on the tariff revenue that's being collected. He said a little rebate. And I think he went on to say in the answer that, it would be for certain income groups. If you are among the wealthier class, I don't think that you should expect to see a check in the mailbox. But for those at certain income levels, and I have no idea, he didn't specify what those income levels would be, a little rebate, a little stimulus could be on the way. Is that breadcrumbs? Is that returning money to taxpayers that they paid? Maybe the answers to all of that are yes. I don't know that I've got an issue with that. I'm not sure stimulus checks or rebate checks work necessarily in the way that some people want to proclaim that they work. That the economy gets a massive boost because, 10 million Americans got a check for $500 or $1,000. Well,
to SuperTalk Mississippi. Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Glad to be with you. It is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Apparently, I just disappeared at the end of the last segment. My apologies to that, for that. Somebody said you'd be okay with that check, and then the powers that be cut you off real quick. Hot Sauce chiming in. We are glad to be with you this morning. JT Mitchell joins us right now. Before we jump into some of the local stories, this has happened this morning. Trump is meeting with Starmer this morning, and he was asked a question about Russia. It has become abundantly clear that Donald Trump is he has had it up to here with Vladimir Putin. You know where I'm talking about when I say up to here. And remember, he gave a 50-day window for Russia to settle things down with Ukraine. Apparently, that timeline is now changing.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
Pretty significant, going from that 50-day window to work toward an end of that war with Ukraine to 10 to 12 days. And you may remember that there was talk of some pretty massive tariffs, not only against Russia, but against people with whom Russia does business. And that could be significant. We'll see if that leads to any movement at all on the Russia side of things with regard to their ongoing war with Ukraine, which is not getting any better. JT Mitchell, good morning to you. That is a fancy new haircut you got there, pal.
Well, it's the shower special is what it is.
Doesn't take as long to wash your hair in the shower?
No, it's just when you comb it back in the morning, it falls into place throughout the day.
There you go.
So it's not a haircut. I need a haircut, and I'll probably get one sometime this week for everybody out there who cares.
Probably not many people.
Probably not many, and I don't blame them. I don't care when they get a haircut. I'm just glad they're tuning in.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We are thankful. The Neshoba County Fair off and rolling got started this past weekend, going to go throughout the week. Wednesday and Thursday are the big highlight days. Somebody brought this up on the C Spire text line, and I had it in my notes as well. I mentioned it a couple of times. The only statewide elected official that is not on the speaking docket is State Auditor Shad White. Do we have any more information as to why that is? Was that the state auditor's decision or someone else's decision?
Yeah, I believe it's the state auditor's decision, and really the reason people care that he's not speaking is because the waves he made last year. In 2024, he went on the tangent about how he's going to run for governor, about what he believes the lieutenant governor is doing wrong. They got into a little tiff over all that, and then we got the speaking lineup, and Shad White was not on it.
Okay.
People thought, oh, maybe they didn't want him to be involved. I'd say that's not true. From what I've heard, Shad White has an obligation as to why he cannot speak. Now, I'm not going to say that I know what that obligation is because it has not been explicitly stated by the Office of State Auditor, but he missed the fair in 2023, and it was because he was on active duty for the National Guard.
Okay.
So it may be something similar.
Could be. Could very well be the case. And I mentioned earlier, I feel like the last few weeks have been a little quieter from the state auditor, Shad White. And I wonder if that's calculated. Like it felt like the news was coming out of a flamethrower, going back to the session and kind of going through the new year, but it's been a little quieter. I know you are a news reporter, not an opinion maker. Like, I get that, but does that feel calculated to you?
I'd say so. Shad White has been loud on social media for a long time. I believe his pinned tweet for the longest time, or X post, whatever it is, was that he doesn't care if people are mad at him for ruffling feathers. That being said, I went and looked the other day, and he's, of course, shared some updates from his office, but he has not put out one of these Donald Trump-esque posts since May. That's almost 2 months.
Yeah.
And that it does make you raise a couple questions. It probably is calculated. I'm sure that he has some advisors. And, this time of year, people are thinking about their next stop. So I don't know. Who knows? He may put out something today that is how he used to post. But if I do take off my journalism cap for a moment, I do believe it's probably calculated.
Every time we start down this road, I can't help but peek ahead because we're not there yet. We've gotten a few announcements, not a lot of announcements. We know that Andy Gibson is going to be in the governor's race. We know that Ty Pinkins is running for a United States Senate seat. And there are a few small announcements that we've gotten, but the next 6 months, I think those announcements are going to start coming a little more frequently, and the names. There are a lot of people that have a pretty good idea of some of the names that are going to be in the gubernatorial race, but to me, some of the down ballot offices are even more intriguing. Who's going to run for lieutenant governor? Who's going to run for state auditor? Who's going to run for state treasurer? Are we going to see primary opponents in all of these? Do we have people in existing offices that are going to be willing to step away from their current offices to run for perhaps an office that they view as a higher office or the next step? It's going to be a really, really exciting time in Mississippi politics.
Well, you're right. And a lot of people are talking about governor. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a trickle-down effect of people who you thought might run for governor, and then they choose to run for another office after seeing who's running for governor. I wouldn't be surprised if Shad White ran for lieutenant governor. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Watson ran for lieutenant governor. And, Shad, his name has been thrown around for governor, but as we know, there's a lot of prospective names out there.
I think it's going to be a crowded field, at least early on.
Especially on the GOP side. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people who are announcing now, Andy Gibson for governor, Shawaski Young for Secretary of State, they're announcing early to try to get a head start because they also know it's going to be busy. And so,
if nothing else, a head start on fundraising.
Exactly. And so I think you're going to see a trickle-down effect. And of course, everybody likes to look at the top of the ballot, but I think some names that you think might be on the top will be down ballot, just based on who else runs.
This is, by the way, pure speculation, maybe the little bit of educated speculation, but the two names that you mentioned just a second ago, if they were to emerge in a lieutenant governor's primary race, Michael Watson and Shad White, the current Secretary of State and the current state auditor, respectively, that could be wild.
It could be. There'd be a lot of headlines out of it. And, speaking of headlines, we might get some answers this week. We're talking about, I know we started this topic based on the Neshoba County Fair. You'll, of course, be on site. So will Gerard Gibbert. And then Caleb Sailors from the newsroom will be there. And so some of these people who are set to take the podium, they may give us some more insight into what their next move is.
Yeah. That certainly is what we'll be watching for this week. It's going to be hot. Whether you are at the Neshoba County Fair, you're in Hattiesburg, you're in Corinth, you're in DeSoto County, you're on the coast, it's going to be hot this week.
Oppressively hot, according to the National Weather Service. So in Neshoba will be even worse. That red clay, it'll be a good time, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be hot, hot, hot. And that's a statewide deal going on that today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, the bulk of the state, from the coast all the way up to Corinth, you're going to see a significant or elevated heat stress. This is because of a combination of high humidity and high temperatures. So that's bad news. Sorry. But the good news is that come Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, temperatures may be between 70 and 89 degrees, and that's something I can get behind.
Not for the highs. That's the range between the low and the high, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But 89 compared to what we've been dealing with, oh man, it's Christmas in Mississippi.
89 versus 97 is nice, especially if the humidity cooperates.
That's right. And so real quick, here's my PSA. I know some people have to work outside, but
Dr. Edney's already done this.
Okay, he's already done this.
But feel free.
I'm good. All right, Dr. Edney, thank you. You saved me a PSA, but seriously, stay hydrated. Don't stay outside for elongated periods of time. Don't keep your children or pets in vehicles. And, of course, know how to recognize heat illness.
Yep. His recommendation was when you quench your thirst, then drink some more.
I like that. I heard him say that. He said, no matter if you think you're not thirsty, just drink water.
Just keep on chugging. Keep on chugging. A couple of other things to visit with JT Mitchell about. We'll do that on the other side of the break before we wrap things up on this Monday edition of Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi. Sit tight. More MRC after this.
Well, he may and it may decline. Did it matter? Does it now? Stephen would answer if he only knew how.
From the Venable Glass.
Wake up! Wake up! Rise and shine!
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross.
Nice early morning surprise.
On Super Talk, Mississippi.
Somebody told me when I first got to Nashville, Hoss, you finally got it made. Old Hank made it here. We're all sure that you will, but I don't think Hank done it just the way that old Hank really did.
Last time with you on this Monday morning. 3 hours goes fast. Thanks for being with us. Glad to have you along for the ride. You can join the conversation. C-Spire text line still open to you at 601-879-4395. JT Mitchell in studio with us. He's the news director with the Super Talk Mississippi news team. Your boy Jamal Roberts popping his first true single. You fired up about that?
He's pretty good, isn't he? Have you heard it?
I have not listened to it yet.
You want to hear a clip?
Sure.
Missing you in Mississippi. Are you missing me? Oh, are you missing me in Mississippi? Oh.
I like it.
What a tribute to his home state. So Jamal Roberts, a few months removed from winning American Idol Season 23, he's been traveling across the country playing show after show, but this is his first real single. And when I say that, you may remember during the finale of American Idol, he kind of did a reimagined rendition of Tom Odell's Heal, and he added his own lyrics, and Jamal Roberts' edition went up to number 1 on Billboard's Hot Gospel Songs chart. That was the first time an Idol winner had reached that spot. I believe this song may be coming, maybe following in the footsteps of that one. And so Mississippi dropped on every major streaming platform on Thursday night, and it's pretty dang good.
I like it.
So we keep supporting our guys. We talked about him for months. And he went on to do it, win it all.
Speaking of guys whose star is rising quickly, former standout at the high school level in Mississippi and first-round draft pick out of Mississippi, Connor Griffin. He is shooting his way not just through the minor leagues, but also in terms of the prospect list.
I mean, his ascension is crazy. I'm pretty sure he was number 43 on the MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospects list about maybe 3 months ago. And as of Thursday, he is now number 1, the top prospect in all of professional baseball. He's the second youngest to ever do it, and he's the first player to ever claim that spot in their first professional season.
That's awesome.
It is. And I was watching highlights actually before coming in here. People always talk about his bat and his speed. I mean, he can hit a baseball as far as anybody, and then he's got about 45 stolen bases already. But he's a Gold Glove caliber athlete as well. He's really good in the field, and he can. I mean, when he was at prep, I think he topped 96 miles per hour as a pitcher. This kid is so talented.
Really, really good stuff there. What are you guys keeping an eye on in the newsroom this week?
Well, there's going to be a lot that comes in. If you want to know about today's schedule, of course, we're getting ready to go off to Neshoba. The First Lady, Ely Reeves, will have a press conference today at 3 p.m. to announce the theme for this year's Christmas at the Governor's Mansion. If you're ever in Jackson around the holidays, the mansion is decorated to the fullest, has a bunch of lights out there. It's beautiful, honestly. And so she'll announce her theme today. I believe there will also be some information there on how local organizations can get involved when it comes to decorating and getting the word out about that. And then honestly, you may have already touched on this, but it feels like we've been getting a ton of artificial intelligence announcements as of late.
Yeah, including one that we talked about in the news headlines this morning with Mississippi State, this AI partnership with Amazon Web Services. Pretty fascinating deal. I made the joke. I was like, all right, so a robot is now going to contact follow-up, but it sounds like the plan with Mississippi State is they're going to use kind of the internal systems that they've got in place already, combined with this AI technology from AWS to make sure that not only are they following up with current, former, and prospective students, but they're kind of personalizing those messages. Am I reading it the right way?
Yes, you are. I mean, that's absolutely right. They're just going to take full advantage of AI capabilities to better themselves when it comes to student recruitment and retainment. And then there will also be some internships involved where 2 MSU students each year are selected to go work for AWS. This follows Belhaven launching an online master's program. And the last thing I'll say, because people ask me all the time, Dr. Brett Andrews with Belhaven, he told us that artificial intelligence will never take your job. The people who know how to use it will.
There you go. Words of wisdom from JT to wrap things up on this Monday morning. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Richard.
Lance, thank you, sir. A pleasure as always.
Oh, yeah, man. Look forward to tomorrow.
Let's re-rack it and do it again in 21 hours. Thanks for being with us. We're spending part of your morning this Monday morning, 28th of July, with Mornings with Richard Cross. Have a great day.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.